welcome to episode 46 of Friends of the Show. I am Stephen W. Skinner, and this is the podcast where I get to know some of the nicest and funniest people from the internet. They are the Friends of the Show. This week's friend is Kyle Davidson, at Kyle I. Davidson on Twitter. And more than a friend, he's family. Yes, it's true. Besides being my cousin, he is also the creator of our podcast theme, and he tells us just how he did it. He also shares some fun stories, and we have quite a time answering questions submitted by our listeners. Thank you, listeners. Be sure to follow at FOTS Pod on Twitter and send your questions for a future guest. Boy howdy, it's Friends of the Show, episode 46 with Kyle I. Davidson. Right now.
Nothing very, very good or very, very bad lasts for very, very long. Douglas Coupland.
Douglas Coupland. Oh, you love that guy. So, welcome to the podcast, Kyle.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, for the listeners.
Great theme song. Great theme song.
Great funky beat. Yes, creator of the theme himself. This week's guest has been involved in the podcast since well before day one, and I've known him his whole life. He's the creator of the theme we just heard, as well as a family member of mine, my cousin. He doesn't do too much joke tweeting, but when he does, it is very funny. He loves hockey, is a talented guitar player and songwriter, and be sure to stay tuned at the end of the podcast for a very special original song. It's one of my favorites, so welcome at Kyle I. Davidson. Woo!
Thanks very much. Long-time listener, first-time guest.
Yeah, you've been listening since before it was even a podcast. So thank you for your support, and thanks for creating the iconic theme, the FOTS theme.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to help.
Yeah, and I think we got questions about that. We'll delve into your process, how you created that, a little bit later in the show.
Yeah, quite a process.
All right, so tell us about yourself. Where'd you grow up? Who are your guys?
My guys, from the suburbs of Toronto, North York, Ontario. That's where I grew up. My guys, I don't know. Twitter guys. You're my Twitter guy. All the local Toronto comedians. Big fan of them. Guest of the show, Blaine Capatch.
Blaine Capatch.
Gotta check that guy's tweets.
Check him out. And so you enjoy hockey? Enjoy following minor hockey?
I do. I'm a hockey timekeeper for the North York Ranger Junior A's in the Ontario Junior Hockey League. Oof. So shout out to those fellas.
Shout out to the team. So you follow them. You do every home game. You're on the clock. You're hitting the buzzer, making sure all the penalties show up correctly.
Putting the penalties on the board. We're announcing goals. We're announcing penalties.
Can you hit us with some of your announcer voice?
North York Rangers goal, etc.
You're not going to say who scored the goal?
I don't want to point one guy out, then the rest of the guys are going to be mad at me.
Oh, I guess that's fair. That's fair. So you're announcing goals, doing a bunch of timekeeping, and it's fun. So they just had a good playoff run, which ended too soon, right?
Shorter than it should have been, yeah, but it was a run.
It was a good run. And didn't they have a great season? They broke some sort of record, or?
Yeah, franchise record wins. That was the only record, really, but
pretty good record.
It was encouraging, and then kind of fell apart at the end there, but that's all right.
It was always next year. You got a dynasty going on, right?
That's right. For me, there's always next year.
Yeah, not like the kids, right?
Yeah, not all of them. They don't always get it next year, but I generally do.
So what else should we know about you? What else do you want to share with the listeners? The podcast audience. This is your first podcast?
First time being on a podcast, yeah. Definitely listened to a million of them, but never been on one before.
All right, well, let's get into that. What are your podcasts? What are your go-tos? We got in the queue currently.
Going with Doug Loves Movies, always a favorite of mine.
Classic one, which we have also seen live.
We have seen that live.
Multiple times. I got to meet and greet with Doug.
Yeah, we spent some time with Doug. It was pretty fun.
Some time with Doug saying hi. And that was great. We saw him during the JFL 42.
At Comedy Bar and at Queen Elizabeth, yeah.
The Queen Elizabeth Theater. Those shows were fun. Who did we see on those ones?
Kyle Kinane.
Kyle Kinane.
Parna Nancherla.
Parna. She's great.
Yeah. Dave Foley was on the other one.
Oh, yeah, Dave Foley talking about his divorce.
Yeah, that was good. JP Manu.
Oh, no. Don't Google it, everybody.
He's fine. He's cleared of all charges.
Oh, was he?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, then okay. You can Google it, everybody.
Yeah, Google it. Yeah, but still, Brandon Wardell's podcast is actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah? I haven't listened to that one, but I do follow Brandon Wardell online on Twitter.
I think you have to. He's like the new Rob Delaney.
Yeah, he's the baby Rob Delaney. A little young. I guess he's not that young anymore, but he just has that young feel.
He's 25, Steve. He's a grown-ass man, and he wants you to know it. The Poundcast, Doug Pound. That's a good one.
Shout out to Doug Pound, DJ Doug Pound, who we also saw live at the last JFL 42.
Yeah. Doughboys. That's one of my new faves, for sure.
Doughboys. Now, who is on that one?
Got Nick Weiger and Mike Mitchell.
Nick Weiger. Oh, he's a Twitter guy. I recognize that name.
Oh, he's a Twitter guy, yeah.
So those are the standbys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at my library right now, and those are at the top, so...
Yep, that works. Very good. All right, so now people have a little bit of an idea about you. So let's get into some of these stories. Now, for this, I've asked for a story, and you gave me 100 stories. So I've narrowed it down to the top 8, and we'll do mini bullet point Cole's Notes versions of these great stories.
Teaser versions.
These are the teaser versions, and if you want the full one, you just got to
listen
file.
to my podcast.
Just follow Kyle I. Davidson and send him a DM, and he'll get back.
DMs are open.
The DMs are open, everybody. All right, so this first one alludes to a brush with the law, and it's called The Paintball Gun in the Park.
Yes. So I was in my younger days. I guess I would have been grade 12, 12th grade, a senior in high school.
So what age is that, like 18?
Yeah, like 17 or 18, yeah. And my buddy had a paintball gun in a car. So we were driving around
combination.
In a car with a paintball gun. And he had just gotten CO2 for it, and we wanted to shoot that bad boy. We wanted to paint some stuff up. So like 5 o'clock on a Sunday, we're better to shoot a paintball gun than this super busy park down the street from our house.
So these are bad ideas, right? They're all just
like
in hindsight, it's very clear that they're bad ideas.
So we were like walking through this park, people pushing strollers, playing catch with their kids, and there's like 5 teens with a gun walking through the park shooting it. So I guess a concerned citizen called the local police.
The constabulary shows up.
Constabulary, yeah. So as we were walking back to the car, I hear sirens, and I was like, guys, they're coming for us. And we look up, and they were, in fact, coming for us.
So the last time you've ever made that joke, I think.
Yeah. Every time I hear police sirens, they never make the my ride's here joke anymore. So, yeah, we're walking through the park, look up, and lights and sirens are driving across the grass through the park.
Oh, wow, that's with importance.
With importance, right towards us, and they did the cool, like, fish slide, broadside stop, and both jump out with their guns drawn. Because they thought we had a gun.
Right, yes. From all reports, from the reports coming in over the radio, 5 teens with a gun spotted in the park.
Right. So the whole hands in the air up against the wall, it was like real life cops.
It's like an episode of The Wire, but not at all.
Yeah, not quite, but it was close. Like within like, I don't know, a minute, there was probably 6 or 7 cop cars.
Wow, it escalated quickly.
Oh, so quickly. And the whole neighborhood is just out there watching us getting the old rundown up against the fence. So it turned out that somebody had been shooting people with a paintball gun in that same neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
You thought we were those guys, but we were not those guys.
Bad time to be paintball aficionados, I guess, in that day.
Yeah, like a lot of local paintball gangs, I guess, rolling around we didn't know about.
And getting hit with a paintball gun, it still hurts. I mean, it's not like getting shot, but it'll give you a welt.
Oh, It packs a wallop.
Have you ever been shot with a paintball gun? Did you ever go?
I have.
You
Yeah.
did.
For a birthday party in, I guess, junior high, we went, and I got absolutely lit up. I got one in the head. I got one like in the butt. I got a few good shots in me.
Yikes.
Like, my glasses kept fogging up. I couldn't see anything. My gun kept jamming in the sand. It was not fun.
No, that sounds a lot like an experience that I had with the airsoft. So it's similar to paintball, but it's like pellets. Like you're
way more painful, probably.
Getting shot with these pellets. Yeah, and it was incredibly painful. And my gun kept jamming. And I got shot point blank, which you're not supposed to get shot.
Guys in their like full ammo with crazy aftermarket guns that they bought and stuff.
Yeah, these guys bring in guns
serious.
with their like 36,000 FPS. They crank it up past regulation limits, bring it in, and they're wearing like full body armor. And
like
we were there with
advantage.
we were there with a bachelor party, and no one told us like what to wear or anything. So I wore like an extra sweater, which really just made me super sweaty. It did not offer any extra protection.
No, it wouldn't.
It was brutal. So then what was the aftermath? You guys just got let off with a warning, or?
Yeah, they like walked us back to my buddy's car and made sure he put it in the trunk. And then, they just like asked us questions about paintballing, which was kind of weird, and led us on our merry way.
Like, are you guys on a team?
Yeah, like that's what we're saying. Where do you guys go? Like, would you shoot it? I'm like, well, not in the park anymore.
Like, we don't have a place. That's why we came here.
Yeah, can't you tell? Like, we don't have a spot.
Well, I'm glad that everything ended up okay. You had to brush with the law, but it was incidental and no one got hurt. Except for the people who were getting paintballed in that neighborhood.
Yeah, like somebody got hurt, but not because of us.
Right. Separate incidents. All right, well, very good. And let's get to the next little story here on the list. And this one is near and dear to my heart, and it is called The Little Girl and the Butterfly.
A day neither of us will soon forget.
This is one of those lifelong memories.
He caught lightning in a bottle with that one.
Yeah, it's a nice memory that I often hearken back to when I need a little pick-me-up.
Yeah, so like, what was it? It was a little girl. We were killing time in a park, and it was like a little girl and her grandfather, and she was running around like playing with a butterfly that appeared to be playing with her.
Yes.
And then what happened? Like I'm trying to remember now.
No, like she was running around with the butterfly. Yeah. They were like doing this dance. Like she would reach out and it would fly like just around her hand, and then like she would stop and it would like fly near her, and it was like just flying around. It was like they were dancing.
Yeah, it was like Link with like the butterflies that float around him and Zelda sometimes.
Yeah. So this little girl is dancing with this butterfly, and they dance for like a minute or so, and then she like stops and like the butterfly flies away, and she like turns back to her grandpa and she goes, "That was fun."
That was fun. Yeah. I know.
And
that's what it was. That was the punchline.
The punchline is just melted our hearts. And we both turned to each other, and we were like tears streaming down our face.
Yeah. Like, did we just see that?
We sort of were both like, did we just witness the beauty of Earth?
Yeah, just life,
pure innocence in a bottle. Yeah,
like for her, it was so natural. Like, yeah, you see butterflies, you play with them for a little while, and then they go away, and it's fun.
And it was fun, yeah. And you just file that away under a nice afternoon. And
on to the next thing.
But I'll always remember that was fun.
That was fun.
Man,
it was
little
the
girl,
thing.
What a life lesson. So
yeah, like teaching two gruff men how to enjoy life.
And I'm so grateful for her every day.
Yeah, it's fun to think about that and just remember that you can just dance with butterflies.
Yeah, it's not a great story in terms of what happened, but it is meaningful.
One of those you had to be there situations.
You had to be there. Yeah, it's definitely you had to be there situation. All right, which brings us to the next you had to be there. This one, you call it Alan Frew, or how sound travels over water.
Right, so we were having a lovely time up at my grandparents' cottage.
Shout out. Bancroft area.
Greater Bancroft, Halliburton area. Yeah, we were out on the front lawn having a nice little bonfire there, and you could, late at night, you can hear like everything. So like people across the lake were also having a party, and they were rocking their, I guess, mid-'80s tunes, right?
Yeah, it was classic rock for sure.
Yeah. And so Glass Tiger, right?
Yeah.
They came on and they're going, and I had just found out the name of Glass Tiger's singer, and they were having a conversation about what the name of the singer for Glass Tiger was. And we could hear them talking about it, whatever, and I didn't scream or anything, but I said to you, oh, it's Alan Frew. And like 2 seconds later, across the lake, the guy goes, oh, Alan Frew. I think it was Alan Frew.
Because he heard you.
He must have heard me, or he like intuited it, one or the other.
He put it out into the atmosphere, whatever it was, because you got to understand, it's like he's like over a kilometer away.
A long way away.
Very far across the lake, and you just spoke it in normal speaking tones. Yeah. But because
he repeated it back like a second later, 2 seconds later, yeah.
He for sure heard it, or his subconscious heard it. We'll never know.
Yeah, we should have gone over and asked him.
We should have paddled right over and be like, yo, you guys like Alan Frew?
You guys
into Glass Tiger? I mean, you got to give a shout out to Glass Tiger. Don't forget them when they're gone. They are from our local area. Members of Glass Tiger went to my high school. It's all coming together.
But Alan Frew is like a Scottish guy, I think.
Is he?
I think so.
So maybe it was just like the B players of Glass Tiger who went to my high school?
Or he like speaks with a British accent. Maybe he's not actually from England.
Oh,
no,
maybe
he's from England. Yeah, Scotland. Yeah.
Well, good to know. And Alan Frew, for everyone, for those trivia heads out there, lead singer of Glass Tiger.
It's gonna come up one day, so
might kind of come up at a cottage near you,
or like HQ Trivia.
HQ Trivia. Shout out to Scott Rogowski. All of his
Quiz
nicknames.
Khalifa.
All right, so we got a couple little more bullet points here. We can talk about the time we met Dashboard Confessional at a bookstore.
Yeah, that was a great time. It was even longer ago. That was, I believe, the first time I met your lovely wife, Catherine.
Oh, shout out to Kath Skinner, at that time known as Roberto.
Catherine Roberto, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Roberto. That wasn't her first name.
No, but you can still call her that.
Yeah, so we were down at Much Music, the old 299 Queen Street West, to, I guess we were watching them through the window, right, from Much On Demand.
Yeah,
we were going
Catherine
to the
and I.
show that night.
Yeah, Catherine and I had tickets to see the Dashboard Confessional concert that night, so we went a little bit early to see his performance at Much Music. And you joined us.
Yeah, I came down after school and met you guys down there. We went to McDonald's and had the, is this a date conversation?
Yeah. Kat left the table, and you're like, is this a date? I'm pretty sure.
And then you left the table, and she asked me, is this a date? I told you both, yeah, it's a friggin' date.
Classic. It was good to get that sorted, cleared out early.
Yeah. So we were watching the Much On Demand, and then it ended, and everybody was kind of milling about. And we were hoping for a chance maybe to sneak a peek at the man himself, and looked across the street, and there he was, sneaking away to a bookstore. So I grabbed you guys, and we ran over and casually walked into the same bookstore. And
we like books, too.
Yeah, we like books. We're perusing the travel guides or whatever it was, and, oh, Chris, weird seeing you here, buddy. So we got to talk to him for a couple of minutes, and he signed my liner notes for a CD, and he was a very lovely guy.
What a nice guy. Until I had to open my big fat mouth.
Yeah. Does not like talking about his old band, I guess.
Yeah, so he was in a band prior to being Dashboard Confessional, and I had a quick question about how he felt about them using his voice and lyrics with the new singer in the video, sort of like mouthing the lyrics.
And he did not answer the question.
It made him immediately claim up and want to get away immediately. So, guys, just leave it alone. You don't have to ask celebrities pressing questions. Yeah. That's what message boards are for. Talk about it amongst yourselves.
Yeah, posit your own ideas.
I think that was a great lesson for me to learn, and I apologize, Chris Caraba, if you're listening. I apologize. Never mind. Forget I asked about it.
Just a guest on the Mike on Much podcast, so check that out, everybody.
We missed that at the beginning on your podcast roundup.
Yeah, cross-promotion, Mike Veerman and the Mike on Much podcast.
Mike on Much podcast, and speaking of Much Music, right? And that's produced by Max from Arkells, who's from Hamilton, and I'm in Hamilton. Wow, it's all coming together.
It really all peels together there, yeah.
The Mike on Much podcast, shout out to Mike Veerman and his former band Pumps. They were great.
San Sebastian and the Racket.
Deep history of music.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's a good spot to end the story time. So thank you for sharing all those stories. And I guess
Hopefully one of them was good.
I was also sharing half of the stories because I'm in them. So that was nice. Now we get into talking Twitter. Now, you're not much of a tweeter, but
I'm a shy tweeter.
But you've been on since April 2011. Heady days. What were you doing when you first came on?
I remember what exactly I was doing. I was sitting next to you on my couch here, and I think probably playing poker. My first tweet is terrible, but it has to do with we were drinking J&B whiskey at the time.
Justerini and Brooks. I mean, they make a good whiskey. It's cheap.
It'll
it's
make
affordable.
You sign up for Twitter.
Yeah, you have enough, and you'll be in social media and on it. So yeah, we were together. When
you needed a follower,
I
at the time.
Desperate for followers, and thank you for being one of the first.
Yeah, no problem.
You're right up there.
You followed me back weeks later.
I eventually got back to you. So you've been on since that time. What were you doing in the early days? Just following, just loving life?
Live tweeting baseball games, which got me blocked by the Blue Jays.
I was wondering if that was going to come up. Our beloved baseball team in Canada, our only baseball team, has now blocked Kyle here on Twitter for
one of those
seemingly innocuous interactions.
Very innocuous.
You're just a passionate fan, and you ticked off.
I have ideas.
You ticked off the social media person for the Blue Jays.
They probably don't even work there anymore, and I'm still blocked. But
so
yeah,
funny. So, guys, maybe we start a campaign here to get Kyle unblocked by the Jays.
Oh.
He's really a fan. So just tweet at Blue Jays. Can you unblock at Kyle I. Davidson?
Now they don't have Jose Reyes. I'm less critical than I was before.
Right. So is that what happened? That was the crux of the issue?
It's hard to tell which one did it.
Which tweet pushed them over the edge to hit that block button?
Yeah, there was some Gibby bashing back in those days.
Right, yes. The manager not always making the best managerial decisions out there on the field.
Or even any decisions, but...
Right. He had a very laissez-faire attitude in those early days.
But I think we've come around to finding that that's, it's cute. We like it now.
Right. It's got its
Sits
charm.
there and eats sesame seeds all game, and
he gives funny
happens,
post-game interviews, right?
Oh, the chillest post-games.
People love how he's chill in the post-game because he just doesn't care.
He melts into his chair.
All right, great.
So yeah, what did I? Yeah, live tweeting sports and replying bad punch-ups to jokes, probably.
Yeah, we all went through that phase. So, what would you say was your most memorable interaction so far on Twitter? Would it be getting blocked by the Blue Jays? That's a memorable interaction.
Yeah, that's pretty memorable. I had an interaction with John Daly from Kroll Show one time.
Mm-hmm. He's funny.
Yeah, I tweeted like some quote from the show, and he retweeted it, and I got a lot of action from that, so that was pretty exciting. I used to Arkells, had a few Arkells interactions.
Mm-hmm.
But never any none of your big name Twitter guys, I don't think, really.
Right. Well, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty timid on Twitter.
Keeping it low key.
Yeah, I like to get my news and stay out of the
celebrity
conversation.
deaths. Yeah. Get your celebrity deaths and breaking news. Yeah, because you follow like Toronto Police Services, and Ross is sending in the action that's happening around town.
Oh, always know what intersection is shut down because of power lines are down.
Right. It's also good to know if someone has a paintball gun in a park. You'd be the first to know.
Yeah. Oh, that'd have been cool if there was Twitter. Then we would have been on that for sure.
Would have been trending.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, most memorable interaction, maybe the Jays block. You had a nice one with Feral Audio, even though is that problematic now?
That's problematic now, yeah, but that was fun.
It was nice. Because what you did was deconstructed the chord of the jingle, right?
Yeah, I cracked the code on the Feral Audio theme.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that. That's part of your... We should have mentioned that up top. Part of your musical interest is tabbing and tabulature, guitar tabs. So you're out there on... You should plug your page. What is it? Ultimate Guitar?
Yeah, come find me on ultimateguitar.com if you're looking to play Canadian indie rock band songs.
Yeah. You got a real niche going, and you're a popular poster because your tabs are very accurate.
Oh, just note for note, yeah. On the poll, if you want to catch me on ultimateguitar.com. On our old band.
And our old band, because we had a family band, we play instruments, love to rock out.
Yeah, we used to keep your parents up till 5 in the morning.
We would have a tape recorder that we hung from the ceiling with a coat hanger. So that's how we would record our jam sessions. And it was good. The early days of rock and roll.
Yeah, very early days. A lot of Newfound Glory covers.
The good old days. Yeah, some Blink, some Newfound Glory, all the stuff we were into.
Yep.
Catch us playing My Friends Over You 10 times in a row. The basement of my parents' house.
Yep.
All right, let's keep these talking Twitter questions going. Have you had, I guess, no interesting or fun interactions with celebrities or brands? I guess besides the ones you mentioned. John Daly, Blue Jays.
My favorite brand is WestJet, who I have like an ongoing DM conversation with.
You do?
Yeah.
What are you talking about on there?
Well, it started when, remember me and you had an argument over Chris Parnell being the voice in the commercial?
Right, yes.
For WestJet. So I messaged him and I asked.
You thought it was Chris Parnell.
Yeah.
And I, with my incredible skill of recognizing celebrity voices, instantly rebuffed it.
So I messaged them and I asked, and they said, we don't know offhand, but are looking into it for you, which is way more than they needed to do. We will let you know as soon as we have heard back. And I said, thanks. And then the next day they said, hi, Kyle. We are told the voice is not Chris Parnell, but unsure of the name of the voice actor. Hope that helps.
It did help. It helped me.
It did help. So I said, thanks very much. And then I accidentally DM'd them something I was trying to DM you. And I said, sorry, WestJet, wrong convo. Hope you're doing well. And they replied, we hope you are as well.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I think I might check in with them now. And
you better check it. Yeah, check in with WestJet. Tell them they're getting a shout out. Everyone, if you want to fly somewhere, check out WestJet. They're nice online. Very good. Okay, so we got a couple of talking Twitter questions left here now. The first question is, who would be your dream follow back? Now, this is someone who you currently follow. Who you'd like them to follow you back?
This is tricky for me because it's what people follow me back that made me stop tweeting, because I get so nervous that people that I like follow me that I don't want them to think that I'm dummy by tweeting dumb stuff.
I'm sure some of our listeners can relate to that sentiment. You get someone who you really respect and admire following you, and now you're scared. You can't take any risks anymore. Is it good enough?
Like your hands are tied.
Is it good enough?
Yeah. What would Tom Henry think?
What would Tom Henry think? Everyone check out his new album, Long Live Jokes.
Dream follow back, I would go maybe Doug Benson, because interaction.
Right. Yes. And let's talk about the interaction you had with him online. Remember you DM'd with him?
Yeah, well, I replied to one of his tweets, which I used to do, and I said, if I went to the movies on Christmas Day, I'd be Les Miserables.
Nice.
And then he DM'd me back and said, going to the movies on Christmas is awesome, weirdo. And I never replied, and I can't reply anymore. So I'd say if Doug Benson followed me back, that'd be great.
You'd be able to get closure. You'd be able to get closure on that.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right, cool. Doug Benson, good answer. All right, and the final question is your ultimate dream follow back. Now, this is, of course, any person, real or fictional, living or dead. Now, who's it going to be? It could be anyone, and I know you're quite literate. You're fastidious with your literature, so who is it going to be? Someone from a deep cut of literature, maybe Raskolnikov or
let's say Dostoevsky. That'd be pretty cool.
Dostoevsky. What do you think his tweets would be like? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, what would his tweets be like? Man, they'd be crazy.
Would it be like long threads?
They'd be threads, and they'd probably be about like Putin.
But it would be like the real shit, and he wouldn't get away with that for very long.
No, he'd be in hiding for sure. He'd be like hanging out with Snowden somewhere.
Or Assange.
Yeah. Well, would he be done with Assange? I don't think so.
No, I guess not. Great. Now we get into the tweets. Now, you don't do a lot of jokes, but you do have some, and we're going to get into them. So, would you like to share your pick that you want to share with the audience?
Sure. I sent you a couple there.
This one is your pinned tweet, I think.
The classic that you just bumped. It got me a couple of likes. which is police on the scene described it as a robbery gone really, really well and have no suspects or leads at this time.
Robbery gone well.
Yeah, you never hear that.
No, that's your take, because you always hear it was a robbery gone wrong. It was a drug deal gone
wrong. Somebody got shot. Not this one. They nailed it.
Went smooth. This is the Ocean's 11 of robberies, right?
Yeah, and the police are like, well, I guess respectful. They're like, well, it went really well.
That's the part that I love. Imagining the police giving a press conference, just like, these guys knew what they were doing. They just sewed up. This is tight. There is not a shred of evidence.
Nope, never going to find them.
Great stuff. And now I have selected one of your tweets, and it is podcast related. So the tweet is, do you have a chronically dry mouth? Annoying voice? Start a podcast.
Yeah. Which is a trend that I learned. It was a thing. Like, a lot of podcasts, you're not the kind of people you want to listen to talk for an hour.
It takes some time getting used to the audio format. Myself, I have my own tics and things that I say all the time, and a lot of people also have that, right? And with the low barriers to entry of a podcast game, you could have a lot of dry-mouthed annoyers making podcasts. So I guess in your search for the greatest podcasts, you've come across a lot of that?
Yeah, a couple. I'm not going to name names. But.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. We don't want anybody to get feelings hurt.
No.
All right, now I got an honorable mention because I like this one. I think it's your most popular tweet, and it is this. Comedy clubs are a great place to go if you like being asked how you're doing. Right?
How you doing, folks?
Hey, we doing good?
You having a good time?
How's everyone doing tonight?
Anybody from out of town?
Anybody's celebrating. All right, so those are great, and if anyone likes those, you can give Kyle a follow at Kyle I. Davidson for more tweets just like those every few years.
Yeah, like last tweet I dropped was January 7th, 2017, so I'm about due.
You are due. We should mention the tweets that we've mentioned here. One's from 2013, one's from 2014, and one from 2015. So
it's a new one. I consider
that's
that
the newer. Yeah, that's the new stuff. All right, now let's get into the tweets from others, and you've picked some great ones. All right, let's get into it. This one is probably one of my all-time favorite tweets. Do you want to read it? From Frizz Frizzle.
Let me just pull it up here. Yep, pulling it up. We all know the Beverly Hills zip code is 90210, but the zip code for Dawson's Creek is 90108 for our lives to be over.
And you got to mention the addendum. You got to mention.
The addendum would be 90108 409 2304.
So great. How did he figure out that 90108 sounds just like the Dawson's Creek theme song? And then 409 2304. So
the
good.
next day
he punched it up. Well, so that is from at Frizz Frizzle, and you got to go check that one out from September 5th to 2015. September 4th and 5th.
Yeah, also 3 years old, but still as good today as it was then.
Yeah, some great stuff. So the next tweet you have selected here is from friend of the show, Jeff De Silva. Great Canadian Twitter user at Jeff D. Silva. And this one is great. So it's a screenshot of a conversation between Jeff and his wife. And his tweet says, "Oh my God, my wife's Xmas list sounds like the Rough Riders anthem." And the conversation is, "What do you want for Christmas?" And she says, "Pots, clock, eider down, Apple Watch, Crocs." It's just so perfect. That again was pots, clock, eider down, Apple Watch, Crocs. Sounds like Rough Riders anthem. So
you got to get to the pots, clock part, and I'm laughing.
Pots, clock, eider down, Apple Watch, Crocs. It's perfect. So shout out to Jeff. Just amazing how he put that together. Not enough traction.
Retweets.
Only 31. Guys, get to that one in the show notes and give it some love. All right, so your final pick from other people is from Ashley at Ashmensch. And maybe you want to hit us with this one.
Yeah. Another... was that 3 in a row that are song?
Yeah, that's your neat. That's what you like.
This one goes, it's the remix to Ignition. I'm a terrible magician. I cut your grandma in half, and now my rabbit is missing.
Ash Mensch.
Nailed it on that one.
Nailed it. Those song parody ones are fun because you can hear it. You can hear the melody.
Yeah, very little work on your own part to make it funny.
Yeah. So great picks. Thanks for picking those tweets. And now we get into everybody's favorite segment. It's questions from Twitter. All right. The first question comes to us from friend of the show, one of the best question askers out there. I'm talking Timmy. I'm talking at the Timmy Toes. And his question for Kyle is, if you could only have one kind of juice for the rest of your life, what juice would you choose?
Yeah, I had to think about it. I had to eliminate the obvious answers. Apple, orange.
Whoa. You're talking through it, but I don't know about this.
Eliminated. The only true answer is mango, citrus, 5 Alive.
Wow. That is, I know for a fact that is your go-to. You could go to your fridge right now, pull out a tall glass of that mango, citrus, 5 Alive. And it is pretty good.
It's good. It's refreshing. You get a sugar burst from it.
Maybe that's part of the problem, right? You should go with more of the natural sugars instead of the...
Buddy, they've all got sugar in them.
I guess you're right. All right, so there you go. Mango Citrus 5 Alive. Timmy, if you haven't tried it, go get yourself a container.
Yeah, they probably have it in the contiguous United States and Europe.
Yeah, it's coming to us from Texas. Go check your local steakhouse.
They don't have it.
All right. The next questions come to us from friend of the show, Todd Williams at the Todd Williams. And he's got 3 questions for you. Let's take these one at a time. He says, hi, Kyle. Question 1. What does your side of the family think about the Skinner clan? In brackets, please provide the good stuff. I think he means gossip.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to think about that one. There's not a lot of crossover anymore. There used to be more, probably. Like our dual families meeting at events. But I don't think anybody on the McGill side has too much beef. Yeah, I mean, pretty friendly working relationship, I think both sides have.
Working relationship.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, what do they think? They think that Slash Skinners are all very, like, kind of buttoned up, I think.
Oh, yeah, I need to let loose a bit.
Like, not much fun.
Right.
Yeah, I think that would be the main thing.
Ooh, pretty juicy. Can't wait for my mom to hear this.
Yeah. Yeah, step it up, Diane.
And we should mention what our relationship is. My mom, Diane, her brother, Ian, is your dad.
Yeah, the I in Kyle I. Davidson.
Ian.
Yeah, that's him.
It's Ian. All right, great. All right, now question 2 from Todd. Nice intro music. What was the process? Boom, this is the question I alluded to at the top.
Yep, that's what kept people listening for 42 minutes. The process for that was keep it simple, I think was a main thing I wanted to do. I listened to a lot of pods, and they seem to have the electronic vibe to them. It's like unoffensive. I don't know if it's catchy. I wanted it to be catchy, but I don't think people are humming that tune in their heads. But
yeah, there's no hook. It's just sort of...
There's not really a hook.
It just sort of starts and it ends.
It's got your vocal on it going, podcast.
That is officially me.
Yeah, it was you had said podcast normally, and then I just kind of like played with it until it sounded otherworldly.
I like that the lyric of the theme is just podcast.
The word podcast, yeah. Well, I had a bunch of like ideas that were like jingles with friends of the show in them.
Oh man, we should have got into those. You should play some of your failed jingles where I was like, oh no, let's just keep the theme as it is. But you're like, no, I've got these jingles.
No. And we kept it the way it was. So yeah, the theme, I mean, it was just done in GarageBand from available instruments on GarageBand. I think some crazy synth.
And then, if you forget what the podcast theme song sounds like, it sounds like this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bass guitar doing the plumps.
What about Who Says Podcast?
That's you.
I like the end part where it goes, bong.
Bong. Yeah, so it's just a bass and then an arpeggiator synth doing that.
Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, so it's just one note and it kind of arpeggiates the chord, and then the chord is played underneath on the bass.
Dang.
You say podcast, and that's how the milk is churned.
Could not be simpler or more complicated. An arpeggiator. Bet you never thought that was a thing.
Todd knew it was an arpeggiator from
Well, Todd
jump.
did. Yeah, Todd is in the music biz, so I think that's why he asked
great
about
podcast. He did. I listened to it. It was really good.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's one of our more popular ones. Todd was great. So everyone go check that one out. Plug within the show. All right, and Todd's final question. Where's the booze can tonight?
Man, the booze can. It's Sunday.
But you were at it.
In Ontario.
You were already at it today. Say what it was.
I was at the booze can already today, yeah.
And,
I was back to the Lee's Palace today.
And what's above
Show
Lee's
was so
Palace?
nice, I had to see it twice. The Dance Cave.
Dance Cave, that's what we're looking for.
Did not go to the Dance Cave.
Dance Cave is a popular after-hours spot, Todd was saying.
I have been there like twice, and yeah, it's like, it's not my scene, man.
Okay.
It's like a bunch of 19-year-old white kids dancing to like hip-hop and R&B and stuff. I mean, fine if you're into that. I bet it was very different back in Todd's day. Oh man, I bet it was a bunch of white kids dancing to disco or whatever. But yeah,
no.
Sorry.
It was the early 90s. You listen to the podcast. All right.
Yeah. I'm being mean to Todd now.
Todd. All right. Thank you very much, Todd, for those questions, and let's keep it moving. We got some questions from Wildebeest at Flash Ember, and he says, "Hi, Wildebeest here, Reporter Beast from the African Newsletter. I have a few questions. 1, what is your favorite animal and why?"
Pony.
Pony.
It's not fair. I saw the question already.
Well, yeah, okay. And number 2, why didn't you choose Wildebeest?
Because I thought pony would be a funny, similar animal to say.
Well, there you go. And a third and final question. A witch curses you, turns you into a building of your choosing. What would it be and why? It's nice that the witch lets you choose. Normally, they're not that accommodating, I like to say.
Yeah, like they would just turn you into
They would just be like, you're an outhouse.
That's not going to be my answer. My answer would probably be, I'd go hockey rink. Professional hockey rink.
Yeah, all right. So which one are we talking about? Who's your team?
We got to go hometown Maple Leafs.
Woo-wee.
Yeah. So am I like an anthropomorphized building?
Like people have to go into your mouth or something?
Yeah, like I'm sentient.
Like it hurts so much when they skate on the ice.
No, I'm not the ice. I'm just like looking down from like the gondola or whatever. Like
right, like the Phantom of
the games. Is my idea.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Wildebeest, for those interesting questions. All right, now we got a writing question from Kat. I'm talking about my wife. I'm talking about the aforementioned first date person haver, and I think she's alluding to that. She says, "What was your most awkward celebrity encounter?"
Well, recently, I love the guy, but meeting Doug Pound was a little bit weird.
Right. I do recall that.
I forced myself on him.
Yep.
He was cleaning up after his set, and I kind of just walked up to the stage, and I stuck my hand out and said, "Doug, great show." And he kind of looked weirded out and surprised and said, "Thanks." And that was it. So,
yeah, I guess that was awkward. That was like 1:30 a.m. after
it was very late.
A long show.
Yeah, so that wasn't great. Jim Brewer in Montreal, you were there for that.
That was like A+ level ghosting. Like we were just walking around, and then all of a sudden, like Jim Brewer's like walking beside us, and we're like, "Hey, it's Jim Brewer," and we had like a minute conversation. We were talking, and then something happened where we like turned ever so slightly, and we turned back, and he was gone. It was
he did the all like, "Whoa, what's that over there?"
It was amazing.
Evaporated into the cobblestone streets of Montreal.
It was amazing. And Kat asks, "Who is your favorite Skinner?" Loaded
All time?
question. Yeah.
Seymour, I guess.
Oh,
No,
great character.
Okay.
I think that's that's a fine answer.
Yeah, that's cheating.
All right, so I got a few more questions here. I reached into the all-star grab bag of questions, so I'm recycling some old favorite questions here because I want to hear a new take on these old questions. So this question sent in originally for Dave Cactus from Marky Doodoo at Marky Doodoo, and the question is, who is your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Who was my favorite Ninja Turtle? I don't think I had one. Honestly, I was very into the Ninja Turtles.
As a team.
As a teen, yeah.
I mean, like them as a team, you couldn't single one out to be your favorite.
Exactly, yeah. Like I was.
It was
they
the
all had their
TMNT.
personalities,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
A big part of their personalities was liking pizza.
Yeah, that was mostly Michelangelo.
Right, so I think maybe he was my guy. If I had to pick one, the pizza guy.
He's a party dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Splinter was cool too, but...
Does he count, though?
He's not a turtle.
Not a turtle, nope. All right, and the next all-star question, originally sent to Isabel Zautun, and it is by Zach at name starts with a Z, and he asks, what is your favorite spice, seasoning, or condiment?
Frank's Red Hot, I put that shit on everything.
Bow, 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 bow.
am I allowed
Not
to swear
paid
on this thing?
promotion. Yeah, you can. All right, that's a great answer. I mean, it goes on everything. What was the last thing you put it on?
Like a rice and meat thing that I make, kind of like a casserole kind of thing.
Nice. That'll spice it up.
It steps it up a notch, you know. It makes it interesting.
That's good. We got a couple more of these all-star questions. The next one comes to us from Abby Cohen, WL, and she asks, who is your favorite stand-up and why?
My favorite stand-up.
As we've alluded to, we both enjoy comedy and comedians, and we've gone to see many comedy shows together. And I thought it'd be a great question.
Yeah, no, I'll hit it with the local flavor. I got to go Chris Locke on that one.
Chris Locke at Chris Locke Fun on Twitter. Great answer. So funny. Like one of the funniest guys I've seen.
Seen him like 50 times, and every single time it's amazing and different and never bad.
Never bad and never, yeah, like you're saying, it's different every time and amazing. Even if you've seen him tell the same jokes maybe once or twice, it's everything that goes around those, the flavor and how it sits with all the other material is just perfect. And everyone got to go check him out, and you can check out his Funny or Die web series, Nature, Learning Nature with Chris Locke. I definitely highly recommend that also.
And his podcast, Utopia to Me?
Utopia to Me? You got to check that one out also. So good. With really funny comedians that you'd know and love.
Yeah, he's got some really great ones.
Really great ones. What's your favorite one of his Utopia to Me?
The Mark Normand one is really great.
Mark Normand, one of your favorites. And you listen to his podcast, right? Tuesdays with Stories?
Yeah, Tuesdays with Stories, him and Joe List. It's really good. It's pretty offensive, not for the faint-hearted, but all in good fun, obviously. And they're great.
They're great.
I met Mark Normand after a show at Just for Laughs this year, and he was very nice. Didn't give me the cold shoulder at all. He was cool.
That's what you want. All right. Next question comes to us from Valerie at Valerie Gauvin, originally sent for Maison Shouting. And this question is, if you could have anyone haunt you as a ghost, who would you want it to be and why?
I was just watching some of his YouTube videos last night. I'll go Mitch Hedberg.
That would be a great one.
Yeah. Man. Amazing one-liners.
So
every time he did
great.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a great answer. Yeah, amazing one-liners.
Hit me, Mitch, and he'd drop one on you.
Yeah. All right. We got a couple more here. Yeah, okay. I got a question here from Isabel Zautun, and she asks, do you have a secret hunch about how you will die?
No, it's going to be some really boring way because of all the exciting ways I could have already died and didn't. So,
Right.
Yeah, it'll probably just be like, I don't know, like a paintball gun pellet at the park or something.
Paintball gun. You're like, fell off the toilet, broke his hip, got an infection.
Yeah, something like that probably, right? Like, had the flu and didn't
didn't get his flu shot.
Antibiotics for it, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a hunch, though. Like, I don't wake up in a cold sweat envisioning my end.
I always thought that was an interesting question.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So we got a couple more here from these all-star questions. Aren't these great?
They're really good.
From friend of the show, Gwen at Miss Gwen L. And she asks, if you could add any sport to the Olympics, what would it be?
Any sport that's obviously not in the Olympics already.
You can just add it.
Yeah. Be something that like I'm good at, right?
That narrows it down.
Maybe I could, not really good at anything. Shuffleboard, that'd be kind of cool.
Shuffleboard, yeah. You could be any age. It'd be great to see some octogenarians in the Olympics.
Yeah, like just been doing it for 80 years and finally got his shot.
Yeah. He's got the touch.
Yeah, exactly. Like something like that I think would be cool, like a bar sport.
Yeah, bar sport would be good.
Or like poker. Let's make poker an Olympic sport.
Oh, damn. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Forget the World Series of poker. We need a gold medal of poker.
Yeah, like a whole new Olympics that's just card games.
Oh, damn. I think you're onto
fish.
something.
I'm
yeah,
talking big too.
It's like, wow, World Series of cards.
Sanctioned by the Olympics.
We want to get the IOC more involved in everything, right? Like, that's what we need. More IOC jurisdiction.
Yeah, I got to boot Russia for like rigging the decks, probably, right?
Yeah. They'd find some way to do it. Okay, we got one final all-star question. It comes to us from, you guessed it, Timmy at the Timmy Toes. And his questions are, what's the best live performance you've ever been to? Music, stage, etc.
Best.
I mean, you were at one today.
Yeah, it was great.
But
wasn't the best,
right?
The best one. That's a real tricky question.
It's a noodle scratcher.
Yeah, it's gonna be a musical act for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's probably gonna be a brand new show.
Okay.
At not Arrow Hall, at the Cool House, which is no longer a venue here in Toronto, but they did 2 nights at the Cool House, and I went to both, and they were both really amazing.
They were both
totally
the
different.
best.
Yeah, so the second one was probably better than the first one. Or, yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, good answer. What were you going to say, though? What's the runner-up?
Well, I was going to say our trip to Albany when we saw Jesse Lacey from Brand New in Albany Acoustic with Kevin Devine. That was also once-in-a-lifetime amazing experience.
That was pretty good. What about the one where you were sitting on stage? Was that...
That was Alexa on Fire. That was great. That was right up there, too. That was at Edge 102 Studios, the radio station in Toronto. It was on Yonge Street. It's not there anymore. And Alexa on Fire, and they were during the time of their first album, played a free show on a Friday night, and Yonge Street was basically shut down because of it, because so many people showed up that they were pouring outside of the station onto the sidewalk and onto the street, and the cops came in and said they were shutting the show down if people couldn't get off the street. So everybody pushed in so far to the point that I sat on the stage monitor with Dallas Green sitting beside me playing Lex on Fire songs, while everybody just sat on the stage and made it work so they could finish the show. And it was a very, very unbelievable experience.
Memorable moment. Had to bring it up. Just make sure that you put that one on the list.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I totally forgot about that. That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. All right, so now this brings us to the very final question. And thank you to everyone who sent in a question at FOTS Pod for all the episodes. That's everyone's favorite part of the show. And Timmy asks, which light switch is better? The little nub or the flat plate?
The little nub. So that'd be like the one with the flipper.
The little click with this up or down, or a flat plate, just like a click.
No, flicker. I like the tactile experience.
Right. Okay. All right. You've made it through all. You made it through all the Twitter questions. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining me on the podcast today. So now we're gonna wind her down. We're gonna wrap it up. Do you have any advice for people online? What should we be doing? What websites should we be visiting?
My advice is always use your own name on the internet so that you don't do some crazy out-of-pocket stuff that you regret.
Yeah,
be accountable on the internet.
That's good. Yeah, hold yourself accountable. And if it takes putting your name out there, then that's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, that was my rule from the beginning, because when you hide behind a screen name, you kind of get a little loose sometimes.
It's a slippery slope.
You got to always have the fear of being doxxed hanging over your head.
That's true also, yeah. You never want that. Fear of doxing.
Fear it.
Don't dox people also.
No, don't do that.
Very good. All right. So, any final shout-outs you want to give? Maybe my mom, your dad, the rest of the fam, Grandma Betty. Who else we got? Cat.
Shout out Davidson. Shout out the Skinner. Shout out Cat. Shout out your brother Gord. Shout out to
your mom.
All you people in podcast land.
Your mom, your sister.
My sister.
Grandma, the McGills.
Shout out anyone who follows me.
That's not
206 of you. Am I setting a record for fewest followers on the show?
Probably. You are. You definitely are.
Nice. So I got that going for me. Yeah.
And stay tuned.
Shout out Douglas Coupland.
Yeah, and we should say stay tuned at the end for a very special song written by Kyle Davidson, recorded in a single take on my MacBook like a long time ago, and I think it's a great song, so happy to have it at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, well, great. Thanks for putting it out there.
It's called, what is it called?
But Still Don't Fade, yeah.
Great song.
Yeah.
And a little bit of, we were playing around with the production of it. So
yeah, it's the remix.
This is the remix. Yeah, extra produced version. All right, well, I think we did it. So now we can play that iconic podcast theme created by Kyle Davidson on the Kyle Davidson episode to say our goodbyes. And here we go. You're playing a funky beat over my wisdom?
That was my favorite.
Shout out to Allison at Suge Knight. Great episode. Go check it out. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Steve. Great time.
Bong. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode with Kyle. Could you tell we're related? You can find him on Twitter at Kyle I. Davidson. Now be sure to follow at FOTS Pod and send a question for future guests. It's everyone's favorite part of the show. Now check out at Skinner Steven on Twitter for all the hot new jokes. And visit www.stephenwskinner.com for all the old episodes, and do subscribe and leave a rating and review. Thank you to Ruby Coast for the music, and thanks to Kyle I. Davidson for the theme, and be sure to stay tuned for the world premiere of Kyle's original song, But Still Don't Fade, right after this. I am Stephen W. Skinner. Thank you very much for listening, and have a great one.
You sure? Yeah. Internal mic, baby. That's it.